This is the book of Psalm, chapter 64, verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Verse 9. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God. And Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Radash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. Our brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Psalm, chapter 64, verse 8. Yeah, 64, verse 8 through 9. Is that I came across this article today by the Foundation for Economic Education, FEE. And as you see in front of your screen, an MIT data, an Ivy League institution, scientists stated from the data that he has collected from this pandemic, over 14 months of this pandemic, that lockdowns not correlated with fewer deaths, but are correlated with more unemployment. And that's why I brought out the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 8 through 9, because even these scientists, all right, these physicians, they're making their own tongue fall upon themselves, okay? And this is causing, all right, great confusion, great anger, all right? And this is all done through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because by having this information being presented for the masses to read, it's causing division. It's causing division within these United States. Let's get that scripture. Book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 23. And he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? Right. You're seeing a huge division in America, especially with this pandemic. You know, whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter. All right? There's consequences because of this pandemic. There is now, okay, blowback because of this pandemic. And there's a heavy division, a spirit of division in this nation. And it's only going to get worse. 24, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Right. And a good book, a good chapter to read, okay, the book of Daniel, chapter 11, it talks about the division, all right, with the king of the south and king of the north, all right, the Ptolemies and the Seleucid dynasty, the back and forth, okay, and there's nothing new under the sun. This is happening here in Babylon the Great, okay. Take, for instance, the state that I live in Florida. They are done with this pandemic, all right? DeSantis and his Goombas, all right, they're done even reporting deaths and cases of this pandemic. They're done with it, all right? And they're passing laws that you can't even tell a citizen, a Floridian, if you have a business here, to show a jab card or not. You can't ask for a jab card, okay? Excuse me. Hey, that's that division. While in New York, it's the opposite, okay? And there's nothing new under the sun. And when you read, once again, you read the book of Daniel, chapter 11, same thing that was happening, okay? When these Edomites would call themselves Greeks. 24, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. 25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. 26. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. And this is proving we're at the end because, all right, with these leaks, okay, we'll read some of it. All right, this is drawing anger, confusion, all right, distrust amongst the hierarchy of these United States and the citizen, okay, which I'm going to get second Esdras chapter 15, around the 13 to 14 verse. Brothers knows what I'm talking about. But let's get into this article. Dozens of studies show that lockdowns were ineffective pandemic response. The list just got longer. In May, Yu Yang Gu, an MIT trained engineer and data scientist, released data showing that government restrictions were not correlated with lower crown mortality in America. Government restrictions were correlated with higher unemployment, however. Woo! Hey, man, this is they're making their tongue all fall upon themselves, man. All right? And this is the Lord doing this, okay? Causing that division. Oh, I got another one. Luke chapter 12, verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you nay, but rather division. Okay, there you go. Okay, point blank, period. That's why when you jump up to Luke chapter 12, verse 9, Luke chapter 12, verse 49, it says, I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? Right, because it's going to be war. It's going to be civil unrest. It's going to be civil war in these United States. And it's all done through the spirit power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to bring judgment, man. All right, to bring your nation down. Okay? This is what's going to happen. Let's continue on. Quote, in the U.S., and once again, this is an MIT scientist who got this data, all right? And this is what he found. And there's plenty of other data, but I chose this MIT data, all right, to smack you little, you clowns that are in your colleges, you university retards, okay? Your little degrees, okay? This is an MIT student, all right? Quote, in the U.S., there's no correlation between crown deaths and changes in unemployment rates. However, blue states are much more likely to have higher increases on unemployment, wrote Gu, the creator of the Crown Project Projections.com, a pandemic modeling site. Quote, more restrictions in the state is not correlated with fewer crown deaths. However, more restrictions is correlated with higher unemployment. Right. See, and that's what happens when you clowns vote blue. All right. And anyway, that voting shit is off. All right. But that's what happens when you trusted, like our people, with this Democrat shit. All right. These Democrats are fucking you. But, you know, our people, what do you know, man? You don't read. You don't look into things. All right. You just got the stimmies and you think everything's all right. Everything's not all right. Recognizing the failure of lockdowns. The crown pandemic is finally winding down, and more people are beginning to acknowledge some hard truths and the failures of the collective response to the virus. George Orwell famously observed that during deceitful times, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Right, and we're living in deceitful times, man. All right? Because this devil knows he has a short time. Okay? Hey, let's get another one, man. Well, check this out. Book of Job, chapter 13, verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Right. Clowns like Dr. Fauci and friends. Clowns like Bill Gates. All right. And now it's coming out that he's been being friends with, okay, a known pedo, Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. But people want to listen to this clown who has no medical degree whatsoever. Listen to Bill Gates. And then this clown Fauci. All right? Two biggest idiots walking in America. But it's all good. It's beautiful. Create that division because this is all done through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right? I laugh when I watch these clowns debate like Rand Paul and Fauci when they go back and forth. I laugh and giggle. Man, I drink wine, man, because I'm seeing Esau divided. I'm seeing these heathens going down. You Edomites, you so-called white people, you're through. You're through. Vocab Malone, America's done. All right? Let's go back. George Orwell famously observed that during deceitful times, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. So the fact that so many people are finally acknowledging hard truth appears to be a sign we are emerging from deceitful times. No, it's going to get more deceitful, okay? All right? Watch out for that, okay? So-called alien invasion, all right? And if you see little green men coming out of them spaceships, you damn better know that's a government psyop by the military, the CIA, and their cronies, all right? For some, such as Fauci, these truths are bitter medicine. As Hannah Cox recently observed, Fauci has been on the wrong side of numerous pandemic confrontations with Senator Rand Paul and has found himself on the losing end each time, right? All right, because he flip-flops. He's a flip-flopper, all right? You know, typical Edomite. What do you expect? All right, unstable, all right, in all his ways, man. They go out the womb speaking lies because they're the devil, you know? Fauci is an Edomite. The harms of lockdowns, however, are undeniable. Economic collapse, millions of jobs and businesses lost, rampant spending, surging debt and poverty, and explosion of drug overdose, poor mental health, and a collapse of health screenings, including cancer. That will result in hundreds of thousands of excess deaths in the coming years, if not millions, right? Also, get ready for a insulin shortage. Diabetes are going through the roof, okay? Get ready for an insulin shortage, bucko, all right? That's the real crisis. That's why when you look at all these end of the time movies, it's always some child or some schmuck that can't get their insulin, because that's the real crisis. Insulin shortages and the price skyrocketing. That's enough on that. Let me get Isaiah chapter 19. Verse 14, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggering in his own vomit. Right. And you people dwelling here in Babylon the Great, you're staggering your own vomit. You're in the city of confusion, and you're being broken down, bucko. All right, this is judgment, Yapa, okay? And this is the Lord bringing in that psychological warfare upon you clowns, you wicked people that walk here in Babylon the Great. And there's nothing you can do about it, all right? You got to stagger in your own vomit, and it's only going to get worse, okay? We're living in the last days. That's why we keep telling our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. You need to repent, seek the Lord now, all right? Because he's bringing judgment on this place. Don't you see? Okay? America can't fix itself. It's doomed. And when you go into that word err, okay, it means to wander, go astray, stagger, wandering of the mind. And that's what these people are. They're staggering, wandering in their mind. Their mind is through, broken, city of confusion. Let's get that one. Isaiah 24:10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Right. With these lockdowns, man. Okay, now people are waking up and saying, oh my God, these lockdowns didn't matter. Okay? The death correlation is the same as people that were living in Florida. When Florida was open by June 1st, 2020, okay, Florida was wide open. You want to know why? The strip clubs were back in business. Okay? Strip clubs were pumping June 1st, 2020. That's how you knew Florida was done with this pandemic. Okay? But yet, New York, California, lockdowns. And people are confused. They were, you know? And so they saw what happened in 2020. You think these people are going to allow it again? Check this out. Because we're coming in a time where inflation is going to bring in that civil unrest. And the governments are going to try to shut this city down again, this country down again, and it's going to be all-out warfare, okay? That's why the Lord set this up, man. All right, he put you in a jam. When it comes to inflation, the Fed must consider inequality. The U.S. Central Bank has misread both the data and its mandate. This is from the Financial Times. Like most central banks, the U.S. Federal Reserve has been forced to ask why more than a decade of ultra-loose monetary policy has had such lackluster economic results. The answer is that bad data led to bad policy. Bad data, what does that mean? City confusion, broken. The Fed's data are misleading. Misleading. Because they assume the U.S. is the middle class nation it has ceased to be. Right. So they're basing this data off the middle class. And the middle class is nowhere to be found. But it's misleading, and they continue to push this misleading, okay, data. And these people regurgitating it like they looked it up. That's why you got now, what's that fucking clown's name? The Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, saying, you know, inflation's, we believe it might be 3%. We believe. That's not even though, but they're like, we don't know. So it's misleading. It's going to be higher than that. If they say 3, expect 6, maybe 10% inflation increase. Excuse me. Until it uses that data that reflect the nation as it is, the Fed will no more get America back to shared prosperity than someone using a map of New Amsterdam will find the pond in Central Park. Here's the point. Its inflation measures have 3 significant shortcomings. First, they omit costs such as food, energy, and housing. That's what you need here in Babylon the Great to survive. You need food, you need the energy, electricity, and you need housing. And they're omitting the cost of housing and energy and food of rising due to inflation. Doing so is a teeter, but fails to capture that households actually need, and thus what they are likely to do as monetary policy changes. The second problem is that the Fed data are gross. Even if preferred cost of living induces accurately measure the cost of basic basket of goods or services, they do not tell us whether families have the debt-free purchasing power to afford it. Right, because this is a credit-based society. Okay, meaning they have to get in credit in order to buy goods and services, especially when it comes to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, because you're under the curses. All right, you need to go to Esau for all things. All right, you need a line of credit. A lot of y'all don't even make $15 an hour, but yet you acting like shit is sweet. And then you got the the two-time loser Edomites that they're catching hell. All right, the Trump supporters, they got screwed. So this is why this is coming. So hey, you elites that watch our videos, okay, this is coming, because guess what? The prophets are telling you, all right, the Lord's words are coming to pass. They do not return void. You're living in the last days, and civil unrest is coming. The Lord has put the spirit of division in Babylon the Great, okay? And you're going to go to war with each other. You're going to go with your war with all neighbors, okay? So let me get to this. How you doing? How you doing? Second Esdras, chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. 15. Right. So America, you're included in this world, for you prideful Americans. 15. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and sword in their hands. 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. The course of their actions shall stand in their power. And here you go. This is the reason why they shall not regard their kings nor princes. Another article. This is the reason why they shall not regard their kings or princes. Okay? So you government officials, you better get ready, man. All right? Your own people are going to come against you. All right? And there's nothing you can do about it. The lies are that you're trying to push out, it's not going to help. It's not going to solve the problem, because more and more people are waking up to it. Okay? So you could try to throw in as much of deception as you want. The Lord's words don't go out void. There will be sedition in the streets. Your citizens, especially in the red states, they're not going to, adhere to your policy, especially if they believe you stole their election from them. Okay, or you Democrat leaders, all right, you Bidens and all that. Okay, we're living in the last day. This is Yappa stuff. All right, so hey, brothers and sisters that are watching our learning, hey, we're here. All waiting on us for them to make the RFID chip. All right, the MOB mandatory, and that's it, man. It's go time. And for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are straddling the fence, who don't want to seek the Lord, hey, you ain't got much time to be partying and bullshitting. All right, the Lord's about to chop that off. Okay, let them do another lockdown, see what happens, man. All right, it's about to get crazy out here. All right, and with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep the door, keep the faith. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep fighting. Study, pray without ceasing. We're almost out of here. To the few to the few sisters that are watching, keep studying, keep praying. Shalom and abad babal. Shalom.